to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Afternoon, and I just want to welcome everybody into this 1:30 session on this lovely and glorious snowy Friday day on May 8th, a snowy, beautiful day. This is going to be a level 7 training today. And if we go, and I always like to start on this continuum right here, just to make sure that I know what I'm doing today and everybody else knows what this whole webinar session is going to be all about. And basically, this is the remote learning continuum. And basically, at this point, by you being up here as a varsity team member, as a level 7, what we're going to basically be showing you today is a little bit about the team notebook. All right. And not going to really get into the conference tools because I got to be honest, I think this notebook is going to be plenty enough for everybody to swallow today. So I'm going to concentrate strictly on the team notebook. All right, a little different than OneNote notebook, and I'll show you how that all works here in a minute. So I'd like to welcome everybody, give everybody a couple more seconds to get in, get yourself comfortable, and we'll get started here in a second. I did have some late entrants here, so I need to enter them. No, you know what, I'm not going to do that right now. All right. So anyways, we're going to be talking about level 7. Again, it's all about teams, and it's all about how to incorporate the class notebook on a team and what that's going to look like. Right. Now, I am going to pre-warn you. I'm going to front load this one right off the bat. When we are talking about the class notebook, all right, we are talking about something that's pretty robust. It's one part of the teams that I would say, for me anyways, personally, this is what gives me the hardest time whenever I'm dealing with teams. And that, again, is on the class notebook. So I'm going to start off first by kind of laying the land a little bit, showing you a little bit around up the teams here first, and then we'll get into it. So a lot of things that are open. And let's go here. All right, so let's talk about what a OneNote notebook is first. All right, first of all, go over here to Chrome, and we're going to go over here to my bookmarks real quick. So I know I did this really old school. I'm actually using a bookmark. All right. What we're going to be showing today is something called Class Notebook. Now, Class Notebook is a little different than a OneNote notebook. To all of my elementary school friends that are out there, and to our prep school friends that are out there, the district put together, me and the coaches, we all put together this OneNote notebook here. All right, I'm going to open up one of the samples of a OneNote notebook. All right, and I want to show you kind of a little bit of the difference, a little bit of the features behind what this thing is, and then we're going to get into the actual class notebook. Okay, so let's take a look. All right, first of all, this was a OneNote notebook. So for all my high school friends that are out there, and I'm now in the elementary school level, so everybody are friends now. So I've noticed that in every grade level now. Everybody's friends. We always talk about friends. So all my high school friends that are out there, you probably have never seen this. There would be no reason for you to actually go here. But what we did as coaches is we put together this giant three-ring binder that's a digital three-ring binder. So when I look at this page, all right, when I look at this page, I have these tabs that are down the side over here. So when I talk about a three-ring binder, like your normal classic three-ring binder, you always put those little tabs, little color-coded tabs in there. So each of these are different tabs, or each of these are different sections inside of this three-ring binder. All right, and much like a three-ring binder, you have pages that are on or that are inside of each of those sections. So for example, this first section that I have up right now, this is just simply the Getting Started tab. This is a kindergarten folder right here, and grade levels, grade 1, grade 2, all the way up to grade 8, all look kind of the same way here. They all have these different tabs. These are color-coded tabs. So this first tab is called the Getting Started page, and what I did is I created a welcome page for our teachers as far as how to navigate through this. I even put in a video right here. I embedded a video inside of this OneNote notebook to basically explain what you're doing in here and what you're looking at. All right, but I have it also in written direction form. But I wanted to start off with something like with a product that some of us might already be familiar with. So I wanted to kind of lay the land here first. So anyways, this is the first section of that notebook. It's called Getting Started. Then when I look over here, these are all the pages in that section. All right, notice that this is red as well versus this guy over here that's red. If I go to a different section of the 3-ring binder, like this purple one right here, this is ELA. So these are all the ELA pages inside that 3-ring binder. All right, and notice when I clicked on the ELA tab, it's purple. Notice the pages over here get highlighted in purple as well. All right, so each of these are different pages. Each of these have different resources, links, Word documents, PDFs, whatever. You can see some PDFs right here. Math works the same way. If I click on the Math tab, it opens up all these pages over in here. All right, again, some are in there with a PDF, some are in there as a print view screen. But nevertheless, each of these now are pages that are inside of this OneNote notebook. Now, what makes this notebook so cool and why we wanted to go here to begin with is that nobody can mess this up. All right, like only the owners of this actual OneNote notebook, all right, can add things into the notebook. All right, but you yourself, if you were to click on the link to get into this notebook, the only thing you can do in this notebook is just read things. All right, and when you do come to a PowerPoint, or not a PowerPoint, but when you do come to a page that has a link in it, like this guy, like this has a PDF in it. If I wanted to open this and see what this is, and maybe even start typing on this page, I couldn't do it. All right, I'm even an owner, but I didn't log into this, so I'm going to double click on that PDF, and it's going to even tell me you can't open this file from OneNote. Would you like to download a copy? All right, so then I can open the copy of the page and then do whatever my teacher is asking me to do. All right, so that's this section right here is called the sections or the tabs. These are all the pages that are in that section. Then when I click on the page, this is all the actual workspace. This is all like what's actually on the page of that notebook. All right, so this is, again, this is called a OneNote notebook. All right, this is not a class notebook. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to show you the difference between a simple OneNote notebook, which is a really, really cool tool that you can use. And actually, you can actually take this link, all right, if you made your own OneNote notebook, which is a very simple process to do. I mean, essentially, you're just coming into your log into Office like you normally do, and we're all level 7s now, so hopefully we've all been to the screen a bunch of times, all right? And all you would do is you would just click on OneNote, and then it would create the template for you. And then you're just going to add in the sections, change the colors, make it pretty, and then add in the pages, upload your documents, upload Word documents, PDFs, images, whatever else you want. And what you can do with this notebook is actually you can share this notebook over here, right? And it's going to create a link, right? And what I can do with that link, it says anyone with the link can edit. Well, I don't want anybody to edit. I want to just be able to, I want people just to be able to see it. So if I uncheck this blue box and then click apply, all right, now it says anyone with the link can view. All right, great. So give me the link. So here's the link. Click on the link, copy it to my electronic clipboard there, and then I'm taking this link right here and embedding that on my web page. Now I don't have to go back to my web page anymore, because all the kids are going to do is they're going to get to my web page, they're going to click on the link is going to launch them right here into the notebook, and anytime I add a page, if I add a section or whatever else, it automatically will update that on the web page. Okay, so that is just a simple tool of how we're going to start transitioning out, if you haven't done so already, if you've never seen what the OneNote looks like. All right, so Brooke, I'll take a couple questions right now, but I don't want to start bogging down the, this is really kind of more like level 4 type of material. We have a lot to do within the class notebook.
There's a question there right now, Ed, now too. So only those within that team can see or use that OneNote notebook, unless you share it out.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, I mean, you can create a OneNote notebook, which is essentially a web page, because all you're putting out there is, you can put documents out there, PowerPoints, whatever else, worksheets, whatever you want to do. But again, it's a protected notebook. It's all you can do with it is just put it out there, and a kid can click on it and download the page right to their computer or into their phone. So it is private because you would have to send the link out. You could post it on your webpage, but then it's open, like the whole world can take a look at it. Sorry, Phil's asking me. Sorry, I'm in a webinar.
Is it possible to hide the sections?
To hide the tabs?
Hide the section tabs, yes.
I don't know. I'm going to try right-clicking on it, and no, absolutely not. There doesn't seem to be that function there. Okay. So anyways, but I mean, you can always delete them. You can always maneuver them if I want this, like down here, this is music. I can drag it up and then put it above art, although I'm not in the edit mode. I'm just in the read-only mode right now. So, but that's, if you owned it, that's what you can be doing to this thing. So just a friendly, a nice thing that you could add to your web page, or ultimately this whole thing can take over your web page if you wanted to. But it does have limited abilities. All right. All you can do is just put documents in it. All right. But the kids would still have to send you the work via email or take a picture of it, send it in Remind, or those kinds of things. So that's why on this continuum here on the chart, that's why this is kind of a level 4 tool. All right. There is some limited two-way communication. You could put in forms like what you did with your web pages. You can embed those kinds of things in this notebook. But again, it's just kind of a one-way push-out type of assignments. But what I like about it is all I need to do on my web page is just put a link in the web page and link it directly to this notebook. And then I don't have to go back to my web page anymore. I could just keep building this 3-ring binder. And if you ever go to my wife's web page, I have a sample of that up there of kind of how I did it. I just have a sample page, no frills, no nothing like that. I just kind of hijack her page and, I just dropped a link right on there. So just to kind of take a look at how that would look, because I do think it's important that you see kind of what OneNote looks like versus Class Notebook. All right, you're going to see real quickly how the two kind of look the same, but then you're going to also see how you have a lot more functionality within the Class Notebook itself. All right. I'm not going to go here. This will take too much time. Forget that. All right. So again, this is what's called a OneNote notebook, and then starting next week, we're going to start having some webinars. We're going to stay with these whole level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8 webinars. But I'm also going to start some webinars, not me, but the rest of the guys too. We're also going to start some webinars that will just specify, will just be like a level 4 webinar on OneNote. So if you wanted to start doing your web pages like this and getting into this world, we're going to show you how to do that in some webinars next week. All right, so this by no means, I don't want anybody to think that your web pages are useless. I don't want anybody to think that the web page was a waste of time. I'm just offering a little friendly suggestion, maybe even a little nudge, if you will, down the continuum so that you can start getting into this more of this office products and office world. Okay, so still keeping with your web page, but instead of going to the web page and updating pages every single week or every single day and adding new assignment pages or whatever else, all I'm doing is adding pages inside of this, and it's simultaneously updating your web page. Okay, so any quick questions on OneNote?
On hiding the sections, the 3 lines or the 4 lines above getting started is a navigation on your notebook. That's a navigation panel, I think. And if you click on that little icon, you can hide then one next, go to the left, one little icon there is a navigation, and you can hide everything if you want at that point.
Yeah, that's going to hide all your other notebooks.
But you can only show the pages if you want. The question was, this teacher didn't want the students necessarily to see all the upcoming stuff, perhaps. So you can manage it in that little navigation panel a bit.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. Yeah, so again, I didn't want to get into the whole nuts and bolts of OneNote because we have a lot to do today in Class Notebook. So, but again, the big thing that I needed to show everybody is here are the sections with all the different colored tabs. Here are all the pages that are in this music tab. And then this is the actual workspace. This is where you would put like a document or a picture or some directions, or you can even put a voice message inside of here. You can put a video of yourself teaching a certain lesson right inside of this page, and then put it out there so that the kids can just click on the web page, click directly into here, and then they're getting all their information this way. So this might be a nice transition tool before you would get to the class notebook itself. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the class notebook next. All right. Now, in a moment, I'm going to have everybody go to your own Office 365 account, and I'm going to have you open Teams, and I'm going to have everybody get into this level 17. Now, I added, for the most part, I added just about everybody up until literally 4 minutes before the webinar started, and I know I had about 4 or 5 people that jumped in at the last second. But the people that I was able to catch, well, especially up until yesterday, everybody should already be in the team. I already put everybody in this. So what I'm going to have everybody just kind of take a look at first on the webinar, and then we're going to go over to yours, is getting the layout of the team first. It's called the channel. And remember, whenever you make a team, the first channel that's ever going to be created is called the general channel. Right? And I always, I stole this from somebody else on one of the trainings that I was at. The general channel is kind of like the house. All right, it's kind of like the whole house, if you want to make an analogy out of this thing. If I make another channel, okay, so if I click on this and I click on add channel, and I make another channel, so let's say, for example, I create grades K to 2. I make another channel like that. And I'm going to automatically show this channel on everyone's list, and I'm going to click add. All right. So what this is going to do is it's going to make another channel. Well, a lot of people are still getting hung up on what are all these channels all about? Well, a channel, what I like, and I'm stealing it from this other guy, the general deals with the whole house, the whole structure of the house. A channel would just be like one room of the house. All right, so whenever I'm in the general channel, I'm talking about everything that's going on in the whole house to everybody. If I open up one of these channels, I'm just going to one specific room, and we can talk, and we can put some conversations in here. We can put files in here. We can add notes to the notebook in this specific channel or in this specific room. All right, so maybe you might want to start thinking of them in that fashion. Like the general is the house, and each of the channels that you start building underneath that are the rooms that are in the house. So I'm going to stay in the general channel because I'm dealing with the entire house right now. I'm dealing with everybody, all right, and everything. If you click on Files in the General tab, these are some general files that will be found inside of the Level 7 team. Now, what I did was I created, if you're the type of person that's sitting out there right now with a pen and paper and writing down every single click that I'm doing, because I know I have people that do that during the webinar so that they don't forget. I'm hoping that I'm saving you some time here, because what I did was I created a couple documents. First of all, the continuum is in here. And this is a folder, this class material, this is a folder that nobody can really mess with, whatever documents are in here, all right? So these are protected. This is a protected folder that the teacher creates. I also have a list of fake students. So everybody from Scooby-Doo to Peter Parker to Tony Stark to Johnny Quest, we can use now as fake students. So I would recommend you creating a fake class and then plugging in these fake students. And there's a big list of them right here in that document. And it's got their username and password so that you can log in as Scooby-Doo and see what it looks like on the other end. Okay, so I would recommend you use that little document right there. Just make sure that you're doing things right. All right, and this last document that I put in here about 11 hours ago is the Level 7 tutorial links. Everything that I'm going to be showing you today is on this one sheet of paper here. Okay, and on this one sheet of paper, get to it a little bit closer, you'll see that it's got a whole bunch of click here's, click here's, click here's. So if I want to start over and I want to show you how to create a class notebook, I can click here, and what that's going to do is it's going to launch me to a web page from Microsoft Office on how to create a class notebook in OneNote. So the first thing it's going to tell you to do is create a class notebook, sign in, and it's got step-by-step guides of what you are to do. So if you are the kind of person that needs to write everything down, I'm kind of one of those people too. I'm trying to put your stress level a little bit lower here so that all you do is figure out, okay, what do I want to do? I want to create a notebook, click here, it'll show me what to do. If I want to use a class notebook in Teams, click here, it'll tell me what to do. And then we're going to talk about the end of the year, like what you want to do at the end of the year with these notebooks. All right, and then you click here and it'll tell you what to do. All right, and I got a whole bunch of tutorials that you can click on. So this is a nice sheet that you can download right to your own computer once you get inside this team. And it'll show you, like I said, click by click, all the steps that you need in order to be successful. I will also put this webinar video right inside of this class materials folder as well. So if you want to go back and review a video, it'll be sitting in here. And I'll put some other material in here as the weeks go on as we start developing this a little better. All right, level 6, we talked about assignments and grades tab up here. I'm not even going to get into that right now because that's all level 6 training guy right here, and it's called the class notebook. When I click on the class notebook, it's going to look a little bit like the OneNote notebook that I had over here. This was the kindergarten OneNote notebook, right? I got the tabs, I got the pages, I got the workspace, okay? When I go to a class notebook, this is a little different here. All right, it still kind of follows the same format, but because I have like 65 or 75, I don't know what the official number now is of this team, I got a lot of students sitting in here right now. All right, so what you're going to notice is in a class notebook, it has the same kind of feel to it. So I have my tabs that are all over here on the left. What it did was it actually took this whole like notebook thing. So like here's a whole class notebook that fills up the whole screen. All right. I'm going to take that whole notebook and I'm going to put it in this little workspace within the team. That's why you kind of see the words that are kind of shoved off a little bit over here. All right. So this is my class notebook. This is a OneNote notebook, but because it's in a class, now it's considered a class notebook. And the other thing you're going to notice is I have all these tabs over here. All right. Always going to start off with the welcome tab. You know, you can, when you create your own notebook, there will be some defaulted tabs and some defaulted things that are already made, that are already embedded within it. But these are the defaulted tabs that automatically happen when you create a class notebook. So it starts off with a welcome page. I'm going to refresh this real quick. Of course, Microsoft is not responding. This is why I can hear everybody raising their hands right now going, oh, yeah, see, this is why I don't do technology. Give it a second. I have a lot of things going on, and I've also got a webinar going on at the same time. So we got a lot of upload, download speeds that are happening at the same time. So I'm going to refresh this page. And that's one thing that you're going to want to start doing a lot of when you do get into Teams and because it is so robust. There's a lot of things going on here. You're definitely going to need to refresh your screen from time to time. All right? That's just kind of nature of the beast because there's so much that this can do. You know, I know we've had some emails out there going back and forth about Google Classroom and whatnot. I'm a Google fan, my entire stuff. But now that I've been involved with Teams a lot more, I'm noticing how much bigger the program is and all the other things that you can do that you really could not do in Google Classroom. So while Google Classroom might be a little bit more instant, it's because it's a lot more limited on what you can do versus what we're doing over here. All right, so that being said, so I've reloaded my screen here. And this little arrow right here is going to come in handy from time to time. All right, so don't forget about that guy. But anyway, so here are all my tabs. Whenever you create a class notebook, the first tab that's going to be created is the Welcome tab. You're going to see some other tabs in here too, like you have a Collaboration Space tab. You have a Content Library tab. And then you have an area that's called the Teacher Only tab. The Content Library is kind of like your own safe zone. All right, you can't really mess with the document that's in there. Kids can get into the Content Library. So if you put like notes or something in there, they can get into that particular tab, but they can't mess around with anything in there. All right, this Collaboration Space, that's a different story. All right, now you can lock this out or not. It's up to you when you create your notebook. But the Collaboration Space first is it's a space inside the notebook that you can put documents in. You can put, like one document in it and have all the kids click on that document, and everybody can be writing in one document all at the same time. So you got to kind of be careful a little bit of what kind of assignments you want to put in the Collaboration Space. I would say to get started, I would probably turn that little space off until you get more and more comfortable as the weeks go on in here. All right, so that's what the Collaboration Space is. So again, the Content Library, I can start putting in generic stuff. So what I did here, I created inside the Content Library, what I have is just from a high school standpoint, I put in like the New York State reference tables. All right, so for my earth science friends out there, I want to put in the reference table. So this notebook now, when as a kid, once I click in the workspace area, you'll notice that those other tabs disappeared. All right, because it wants to give you more space. Because remember, back over here in the OneNote, you have a lot more space over here because that's all that's open right here. It's just the OneNote notebook. When I'm working in the class notebook, I got the Teams thing going on here. I got the tabs going on up there. So I have a lot less working space. So what it does is as soon as I start working in the working space, it gets rid of those tabs for me real quick. All right. So anyway, so those are the reference tables. I threw that in the content library so a kid can't mess with them. You can't really delete them. You can't write over them, but they're there as a reference material. All right. So for my younger grades, maybe I want to put a line in there. So the kids will always have a number line at their disposal. All right, so now I click on that general workspace, it blows it all up, so I could put a number line in there. I could put whatever other strategies we might be using in the elementary school. Like I know math, you have 10,000 strategies to add 2 plus 2. All right, so you may want to put some of those strategies in the content library so kids can refer back to them at all times. All right, some people might want to put their syllabus. I think I put the lab letter in here, yeah. So this is like the Regents Science lab letter that you would send home. Maybe you put in your syllabus, maybe you put in your class procedures, student handbook, class rules, those kinds of things. You could put all that in the content library. Just some generic reference type material can all go in here. And you can keep building these tabs one by one. If I want to add another section, this is how the class OneNote notebook worked. All right. I come down here where it says plus section. I can add a new tab, so I'm going to go ahead and hit plus section right now, and I'm just going to call this field trip. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So notice it made a new tab for me in the content library, and the tab is called field trip, and now it automatically creates a blank page for me. So I'm going to say policies, and then maybe, oh yeah, okay. So policies and procedures, and then maybe I type down here, must have permission slip, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or I can put a Word document in there or a PDF in there just by clicking on insert and then putting things in there. All right. So this is what's called the content library. All right. Again, kids cannot get in here. I mean, they can see the material that's in here, but they can't mess with it. The next section down, the next tab, all right, it's called the section in office terms, but I call them tabs. But the next tab down, actually, let me close so we don't get confused. I'm going to close the content library. Next tab down that I have here is called the teacher. It is just that. It is a teacher-only space that the kids cannot see. All right. So in a moment, I'm going to have you go to this team. I'm going to have you look into the class notebook, and you're going to notice that you cannot see this teacher-only tab. This is kind of like the staging area. All right, this is kind of like where I'm going to start putting things in my digital three-ring binder. That eventually I'm going to hand out to the kids, because that's what this is. This is a three-ring binder that's digital, and I can share pages out of this thing directly to the kids. All right, so in my teacher-only tab, I have, go ahead. Oh, so in my teacher only tab, I have certain sections called using the teacher only section. This was a created page already. I just left it in there just for reference. Drawing, I have drawing tab in here, so I have some activities that we're going to try with the drawing feature. Unit 5 materials, so maybe I'm going to start putting all my unit notes up in here if I'm a high school teacher or prep school teacher. Maybe I'd make a tab with just my journeys, or maybe I make a tab of all of the Amplify lessons, whatever, how it's going to look in your world. We cannot, in this webinar, make a unified notebook that's going to work for everybody K to 12. All right, so this is where your brain should start be going right now as far as what kind of tabs would you be making in your teacher-only section. I have helpful resources, so the tutorial links I put inside of everybody's notebook are inside of the teacher-only space along within the files. So that's that click-by-click document. And then the last section that I made was a section on quizzes. All right, so I embedded a Microsoft form directly into the notebook. Okay, so this is my staging area. This is where I'm going to put materials before I start doing the next most powerful thing. And this is what separates a OneNote notebook to a class notebook. Notice again, this says class notebook. Over here, this is OneNote notebook. You'll notice in my OneNote notebook, I don't have any student names down here. I just have subjects. In a class notebook, because this is in a team and this is in a class team, it's going to create a class notebook. So now you're going to see a bunch of people's names here. These are all people that have entered my team. Right, there's Brian Devontier, here's Catherine Brooks, there's Zona, Dave Glahey, Jerry Cook, and so on and so forth, all the way down. So what actually happens is everybody gets their own personal space. You get your own little binder within this big binder. And what I could be doing is I can take stuff from my teacher-only area, one of your binders. So instead of going down to the copy machine and running off copies after copies after copies, that's if the machine even works, all right? Or if there's not even a line there, especially at the high school, we have 3 machines for 1,000 people there. And so you're standing in line and it jams up, and then there's no paper, and oh my God, what am I gonna do? I can take the document, I can stick it here inside of everybody's notebook with a couple clicks, and they will have an actual copy themselves to work with. Super, super powerful tool right there.
We have a question,
right,
Ed.
Take a brief. Yeah, go ahead.
It's when an insert, how do you add the Word document?
Good question.
It's can you add in a Word document?
Sure. So when I click on, I'm going to go, this is my staging area, so I'm back in my teacher only section. So when I click on helpful resources, I'm just going to open up that tab. I already have a page sitting in there with the level 7 tutorial links. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to click plus page. So I'm going to add a page. And I'm just going to say, I don't know, webinars, webinar videos. Oh my God, a long day already. So webinar videos, I'm going to click over here. Now again, you just lost all the tabs. They're gone. They disappeared. No, they didn't. It's just giving you more room to work in. So at this point, I want to put my webinar video in there, or a Word document, or a PDF. I just click on over here where it says Insert, File, insert it as an attachment, or I can insert what it actually looks like as a printout. I can insert a picture. I can insert a link to like a YouTube video or a link to another video that you might have in your OneDrive. All right, but I'm just going to click on Insert Attachment. And then it's going to pop up. All right, well, where's this attachment? And I'm going to go like this. I'll put this one in here. It's the same thing as the other one, but it's just in Word form. All right, so I just double clicked on that document that is on my computer, and then it uploads the document right directly into this page. All right, now if I double click on it, same deal as the other OneNote. I can't open it in here. All right, so it's kind of protected, but it's going to ask you, would you like to download a copy? And then you would say yes. All right, and then you can work on it and so on, because this is all in the teacher only space. So right now only the teachers can see this. All right, and then if I say, you know what, this is a good page, I want to send this out to all my students in this class right now, and I'm going to do that here in 1 second, but I'll answer questions. But I can take this one page that I just made, and I want to give this one page to every single kid in my class. Instead of running off 100 copies, I'm going to click a button, and that copy is going to be in their notebook. All right. Then when they lose their notebook, or somebody stole their notebook, or the dog peed on their notebook, they will always have a digital notebook ready to go. All right. Any other? Let's go on. More questions here. It's 2 o'clock. I want to usually stop every 15 minutes. So
There are a few questions. One going back to seeing their name in the notebook, and the teacher asked, I also see my name in your team notebook, but it's not showing up on her end. But I think it's a username issue with.
Is it Allie Porter?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Allie Porter's got some username issues. I noticed that earlier. Yeah. Yes, Allie, we gotta talk after this, Allie. Yeah. Something's going on with your account.
Do you have to save after each document that's added?
No. as you are building things in here, just like if you were building things in your OneNote notebook, everything you're doing is saving as you go. There is no save. It's all done online. So I'm actually, I'm in the online world here. So anytime you're doing things online, it's saving as you go, which is another beautiful feature, because when you spill your coffee on your laptop, or when you spill your beer because it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and you destroy your laptop and you've killed all your documents, everything that you're doing here is being saved in the cloud. So that's why we're really starting to encourage more and more people to start working more in the cloud. That's where your level 4 training is going to start paying off.
Another question. Why would you ever use the OneNote notebook? It seems like you can hide things better on a class notebook.
Yes, you can. Their class notebook is definitely more powerful than a OneNote notebook. But I mean, again, just think of the OneNote notebook as a glorified web page. That's really what it boils down to. You can create tabs as you go, and you can, put documents in here and organizes it into I don't know if it's a simpler format or not. From a management standpoint as a teacher, personally me, I think this might be a little bit easier to work in, because all it is a matter of just making a section and then just adding pages to it. For those of you that are Nearpod users, this is a social studies assignment on Nearpod. I just click here as a teacher and I can pull a Nearpod lesson right out. So it's more of a OneNote notebook is more of a sharing out of material, whereas a class notebook that we're looking at here is more of an interactive notebook where you can share documents and you can work within the notebook. Hell, you don't even have to really even be in Dean to create a class notebook and share a class notebook with students. You can create just a class notebook instead of a OneNote notebook, and then put students in there and just work within a notebook. You can do that. You don't even need Teams if you don't want, but I like the Teams because of the assignment page and the assignment tab up top. And I think it's just an easier workflow than this notebook.
Yeah, I think of my OneNote notebook, my personal one, is where I put all my stuff that I may or may not ever use, but I have a place for it. And that's
Right.
where I share out or pull stuff out for the class notebook. And that's where I put all my stuff. A more of a general question about assignments, and I know we didn't want to go there. When students complete assignments in class notebook, can other kids look into another's notebook?
No, because what you're seeing right now here, this view that's on the webinar right now, this is the teacher view. In a moment, I know I keep saying, in a moment, we're going to get into the student view, because you're going to be getting into this team. So if I'm Amy Beckett right now, and I log into this level 17, the only thing I'm going to see is welcome, collaboration space, content library, and my name. That's all I'm going to see. I'm not going to see everybody else's name. I don't have access to everybody else's notebook. Okay, so that's why I wanted to kind of lay the land first, because when you get to yours and when you get into this team yourself, you guys are going to be in this team as a student, not as a teacher. All right, I think it's very important to see what the kids are seeing first before we start talking about, building our own and how this is going to look. Okay, all right, so I guess this is as good a place as any. Unless is there any more questions that I can take real quick?
I think we're good. I think it would be good to see the student view of the notebook now. I agree. We can come back to those.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is you're going to minimize the webinar right now. All right, and to do that, you either click on, for some people, you just click on the blue snowflake that's at the bottom of your screen there. That's this guy down here. This is the GoToWebinar application app. If you click on that, that should minimize the webinar, but you'll still be able to hear my voice. If that doesn't work, you can click on the little minus button on your screen that's showing my screen. If you click on that minus, that will minimize the webinar and give you free reign back to your computer. But what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to log into office.com. So you go to your browser, open up a new tab, and go to office.com. Now, if you've never done this before, and you're starting off with level 7 training, ouch. This is why we made the different levels. All right, because I'm going to move kind of fast through this stuff, because I'm assuming as a level 7 you kind of know how to get here. All right, so office.com, and remember, when you log into office.com, it's got to be your computer login, name, not your email name. I know I got some teachers out there that have somehow created their own personal Office 365 accounts, and they linked it to their email address. That's not the proper way of getting into this. All right, you want to definitely be using, for me anyways, it's my first initial, middle initial, last name at nfschools.net. And then my password is the same password that you use to log into your computer. All right, there's a big difference there. If you're using address to log in, then you've probably, whether you realize it or not, you probably created a personal Office 365 account. It's not a bad thing per se, but you're going to get mixed up and you probably will not make it here. Okay, but I don't want to fix login issues right now. We have, that'll bog down the webinar. So I'm going to push forward. If that's you and you have like a personal account thing going on and you find that your name is not in this class or can't have access to the class, then that's what you did. And that requires a separate phone call. Okay. All right, so I've landed here in Office 365. I'm going to go ahead and click on my Teams. So you click on Teams. Now, for some of you, I would say for most of you, there's probably about 8 of you out there that I didn't get to because you logged into the webinar late. But when you land in Teams, and this is probably going to open up my most recent team, so this is kind of a little bit of a bust. All right, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Here's the webinar speed going on here. I don't know, Roger, if you have that same issue that I do, but when I have webinar going on, everything else tends to really slow down on my computer.
Yeah, that takes a bit of bandwidth because of the video.
Right. All right, so I'm going to head back to my all teams. So when you land here, if you're looking on the webinar, all right, if you land here, you're going to see a whole bunch of tiles. They might be in list form. It might be in tile form, the way my screen is. All right. But hopefully you see the level 7 varsity team tile. If you see that, then I have already entered you, or you've already been here before for other training. If you don't see the level 7 tile, then you're not in the team. So you have to click up here where it says join or create team. For those of you that do see the level 7 tile, then go ahead and click on it and get right in there. All right, and then post a hello when you get in there so that we know you're there. For those of you that don't see the level 7 tile that looks like this, level 7 varsity team, you're going to find this little icon here that says join or create team. It might be up here in the upper right corner. It might be down here in the lower left corner. But find where it says join or create, you click on that. You're going to have a couple options here. Or join a team with a code. You want to join the team with the code. All right, and I'm going to read off the code here in a second, just so that everybody is for sure in. And if you don't know, if you see that and you want to just join this with the code anyways, you can, and it'll tell you if if you already are in or not. But if you already see that level 17, then by all means hop on in and then just post a hello to everybody real quick and throw a little sticker in there. And for those of you that need the code is on my screen right now. I'm going to read it off, and it is the number 8G5. Let's try it again. 8G5. N is in Nancy. J is in Jack. The number 9 and then an H. H is in hello. So 8G 5N J9H. And case sensitive doesn't really matter. I think you can just use all lowercase. So 8G 5N J9H. 8G 5N J9H. Roger, if you can write that down, maybe throw that out in the chat somehow so that everybody can see it if they need to go to it, or if somebody asks the question, what's the code again?
Yeah, it's been shared out.
Good, thank you.
In the chat, yeah.
All right, so 8G5NJ9H. That'll get you in, and then I'm going to come over here to members. So I just had all my students enter my team with that code. You can see the owners are in here. I got 68 members now in this team, which is great. All right, so I have Marianne Kramer is now here, Richard Evans, Brandy Brown, Brian Collins, Scooby-Doo is here, Dave Glahey here again. Dan Weiss is here. okay, all the way through. So all these people now have joined the team. I'm going to come back over here to the general channel. And if you would, please just go ahead and do a quick post for us. And remember, when you get to the general channel, I can see people are now getting more and more creative with their, I was notified at 2:30 a.m. Sorry about that. No, Meredith Westrek, I apologize about that. As I was doing it at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, I'm like, oh God, if people have their computers on their phones, they're probably going to be blowing up. So yeah, I was working late. So I'll sleep when I'm dead, so that's fine. Okay, so if you haven't done so, please come to the general channel and do a quick post so that everybody can see you. I thank you, Megan, for your rainbow unicorn, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, once you are officially in the team, if you could, click on the notebook up on the top tab. You got posts, you got files, you got class notebook. Click on class notebook. And then find your notebook. You should be able to find that notebook. Remember, I'm always demonstrating on the webinar, so if you're like lost and you need to come back, by all means, come on back. All right, don't forget about that purple arrow that gives you more space. All right, so again, what you see is the welcome tab. You see a collaboration space. You should see a content library, and then you should see your name. All right, oh, Alexandria Porter, you're in there twice. Man, girl's good. Anyways, so you got, first of all, let's go to the collaboration space together. So go ahead and click on your collaboration space. We're going to try this. We're going to try this. If you click on the blue collaboration activity, all right, so you clicked on collaboration space, and then you see two other tabs are going to show up at the bottom there. One that says Grade K2 Notes, because that's a channel that I made. All right, so it automatically, once you make a channel, it automatically adds a note page directly into the notebook. All right, I'm not going to go there right now. Let's just go to the collaboration activity. And you have whiteboard number 1 and you have whiteboard number 2. Whiteboard is another app that you can embed within a activity or even within a notebook. So where it says click here to join the whiteboard page, place an X where you would like to go once the country is completely open. So go ahead and try that, please. Click here. It might say the link is open. You want to change the settings? Yeah. Go ahead. Whoops. Okay, yeah, well, that's what you want, not change the settings. But did you mean to switch apps? Yes, you meant to switch apps. So go ahead and click yes on that. I don't mean to change the settings. So go ahead and switch apps. And then what it's going to do is it's going to launch you to a whiteboard page. This is a shared page that I put a picture of the U.S. map on it. So those of you that wanted to travel overseas, unfortunately, I didn't put the world map on there. Let's just stay in America because, you know, we got to make America great again. $1 at a time. Anyways. So it's going to open the whiteboard. If it's not working for you and you want to come back here to the webinar, feel free. I'm just kind of demonstrating it on my end. All right, but this is all in the collaboration page. So now all the students, and I can see, all right, I can see people are drawing on it. And feel free to draw whatever you want. This is a nice page, especially for our maybe our kindergarten, first, maybe second graders, because I think anything after that, you might not know what they're going to write. All right, and it's pretty much, I mean, there's some ways to tell, you know, drawing a lot in here, but and then I can. You know, I could see the bubble. I could see that 27 people have made it here, which is awesome. Nice job. All right. And all you had to do, I mean, you can feel free. Yeah, people are writing all over the place. See family. I got some buddies sleeping. I'm sorry. I hope, you know, I'm going to try to do better. Try to keep you guys awake a little better. But this is a cool activity, a little activity. I wish that map was a little bigger. If you know, you can always zoom in on your screen there. But, yeah. Like with the middle button, you know how you can zoom in, zoom out. All right, so I zoomed in a little bit on the webinar screen. Need sun, honeymoon. Oh, honeymoon. Nice. Anyways, but yeah, you might want to, and thank you for the Mr. Maynard drawing, how nice of you. But like I said, you know your students better than I do. And if it's a high school group, you may want to be careful with this kind of an assignment because you can pretty much write whatever the hell you want to write there and draw, for that matter, whatever you want to draw. So, like I said, this might just be for a kindergarten, first, second grade class until, of course, you teach digital citizenship to your older kids so that they know, it's really not cool to do something like that. So, anyways, that's called the draw page, or it's a whiteboard page where you can draw directly on it. Like I said, I see a lot of maybe some applications in our younger grades for this, but I mean, you can put a table on here and you can have kids write their name on where they, where they might be at on a certain continuum, or maybe this is where they're going to do a math assignment. Maybe you can assign a specific whiteboard page to each kid, and then you can look at each of their whiteboard pages so they can do math work on here. And all you have to do is you can use your finger. If you guys all have touch screens, if you're using your district laptop, you can take your finger and just draw right on the screen, right on your computer screen. Or you can take the stylus out of the bottom of your laptop. Many people don't even know that's sitting in there. There's a stylus that's in the bottom of your laptop right now. You can pull that out and write right on your screen. All right. Some of the new computers we're looking at, you can actually take a pencil, a regular everyday Joe pencil, and write on the screen and use. Those computers are coming down the road. All right, so I see we got some music friends here and so on. So anyways, this is a quick collaboration thing. You can see people are adding to it as we're going, which is awesome. Thank you so much for your participation. That's what makes the webinars a little more fun.
Yeah. And the question is, how did you actually add the whiteboard page?
Well, it's an app, just like Word, just like Forms, just like whatever. It's a regular app. And then once you create the page, and this is why we're going to have a separate webinar on just this alone. I think Gene Colbago might be doing one of these next week. But once you've created the page, I click on this blue little tab up here. If you're looking on the webinar, this little blue guy that's here. Once I click on that guy, it'll give me an invite. I can actually invite just my kids here, all right, just my students. Maybe I'll just invite 3 or 4 kids here. All right, maybe I'll make up 5 of these different whiteboards and I'll invite 3 kids at a time. So that way I know who's who and doing what. But anywhere you see 3 bullets, 3 little dots like this guy up here in the upper right corner, once I click on that, I can get a create sharing link. I click on that sharing link, and here's that link right there. I could put that link on a web page. I could put that link in Teams. I could put that link as an assignment. I could put that link in a notebook. And put that link out on a phone. You could text that link out, through Remind. You could text that link out, and people can draw right on their phone if you wanted to. So, and then I put web sharing on so that way everybody can draw at the same time. So, cool little thing, just to show you that one. It's called Whiteboard. You can add apps as you go right on your Office 365 page. All right. I know that's all fun and games, but if you wouldn't mind, please come on back to your Office 365 account now. Come back to that level 17, not the webinar. Stay in the team. All right. So that's a collaboration activity. I put that whiteboard assignment in there twice. I didn't know if number 2 was going to work right, and I kind of regret now doing it because I think it just froze my screen. But I tried to put the actual whiteboard itself, embed it right into the notebook, and I don't think I did it right. So I'm not going to go there. So at least we got the opportunity to try it out by clicking on the link and sending us directly to the whiteboard. Okay. So I had to refresh my screen a little bit. And again, know where that refresh button is because you probably, will be working more and more. Oh, no, it did come up. Look at that. So the whiteboard number 2 assignment is actually, looks like it's actually embedded right into the team page. So you can always use, if you're on the webinar, you can always use the draw tab and then start drawing in your stuff. But I'm going to skip over that because we all got the idea. All right, now, go ahead and open up let's go ahead and get out of that whiteboard activity. Now, if you can go to the content library, because we're already coming up on an hour. I knew this one was going to be a doozy. This is without a doubt the hardest webinar I've ever given, the hardest training, because there's so much that's going on here. And I haven't even showed you the teacher end of it and how to set it up yet. So Okay, I'm going to try to move. All right, if you would please go back to your level 17, go back to class notebook, and you can click on that content library now on your own. All right, and you can find the New York State reference table in there. You can find the number line. You can find the lab letter. You can find all those different things in there. So that's in the content library. So I've already kind of demonstrated that, but I just wanted you to see how the students would see the content library. All right. And again, you can't do anything in the content library. You can't make pages. I saw some people were trying to make pages in the collaboration space. You can do that because it's a collaboration space. So everybody can work in there. You can turn that off. There is a setting where you can turn that off so kids won't, do anything in the collaboration space that you don't want them to do. All right, but that's in the, so now this is the content library. That's where the reference table is, number line, and so on. Okay. Notice you do not see the teacher only tab. All right, I have the teacher only tab open right now on my webinar, but you don't see it there. All right, now go ahead and find your name. Now, if you joined the webinar literally before the webinar started, you're going to find your name. You should, anyways. You should find your own folder or your own tab. But there's probably not going to be anything in it other than, all right, other than the tabs that I have already prearranged in there. But you're probably not going to find anything in those if you were just coming in literally before the webinar started. So for those of you that registered yesterday, up until 3 in the morning when I stopped working, that's when I took all the people, I put them in, and then I sent pages out to you. So right now, for example, if you do not, you're going to see the tabs inside your folder. You're going to see drawings, quizzes, class notes, helpful resources, labs or activities. You're going to find those tabs, but you probably will not find documents actually in them because you just joined the webinar now, and I didn't have a chance to distribute those pages to you. All right, but right now I'm in Amy Beckett's notebook, whether she realizes it or not. But feel free to open up your own notebook and click on drawings. Click on the drawings tab. And you're going to have one drawings tab in there that if it says math, it's because you were in the other webinar and I changed the notebook around. AS map. Click on the New York State map. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to load up the page. So I saw, and if you scroll down, if you don't see a picture of New York showing up, which I don't see it showing up on my end, right? I might have a refreshing thing going on here. It might come in a second, but I'm still going to reload the tab. So that's what this little circly guy is for in the upper right corner. Reload tab. Okay. So I just refreshed my screen there a little bit in the New York State map. And basically what I was hoping this would do, come on. I do think this is a bandwidth issue for me. Roger, I don't know, do you see that if you open up that tab and you go to the New York State map?
No, not yet.
Oh, there it is. It showed up on mine now. I had to refresh my screen. All right. So looking on the webinar screen, if you want to see mine, I don't know if yours came up or not out there. Find a map of New York State. And so this is what I just call a draw page inside of the notebook. So maybe you put a map of New York State in there. I gave 3 simple directions. I said, draw an X where Niagara Falls is. All right. Okay, well, how do I draw an X? Right above the screen, you got File, Home, Insert, and Draw. I'm going to click on Draw. And then you have a couple tools that show up. You have your Select tool or your text type. You have the Marquee Select tool, which is that square pen. So if I click on the pen, and we use, I don't know, the color red. All right. Now my cursor is an actual marker. All right. So I just put an X. I don't even know what my directions asked me to do. Put an X where Niagara Falls is. All right, I put a red X on the map here. Now you want me to put an O where Rochester is. Okay, I'm going to put an O kind of over here where Rochester is. I can use my touch screen or I can use my mouse. And then you want me to put an LI where Long Island is. So I'm going to come over to Long Island and put L. I'm going to put I. And there's Long Island. All right. Now, there is no submit. There is no, done. There's no close. There's no, it's just done. These are my notes. This is in my notebook right now. All right. I put a diagram in there that I wanted the student to label. All right. So, all right, I labeled that diagram. Boom, it's done. All right. Now I'm in Amy Beckett's folder right there. So if I want to see if everybody is doing it, I can go I can do a quick folder check, and I can go to Andrea's folder right here. I'm putting you on the spot. I hope you did it. I don't know. Andrea's not, the best student in the world. I've had some issues with her over at, at Abbott over there. She's not. Oh, look at that. See, she's even got little boxes all over it. She's got a WOA. She's got the LI there, and so on and so forth. Actually, those are my X's. No, those are yours. Okay. She put some squares all over it, some little post-it notes and whatever else. So this is how you can do a notebook check without collecting notebooks. All right. So Andrea, good job. There's even a way that I can even, put information back in there, back in your notebook, give you some feedback in there. But again, so I'm trying to move it along. Okay. So now I'm going to stay in Amy Beckett's folder. So go back in your folder. That's a drawings page. That's a drawing section that I had out there. That I created that in my teacher only folder first, and then I distributed that page to everybody's notebook. All right. If you click on quizzes, you don't have to do it, but you're more than welcome to. If you clicked on the quizzes tab, inside of your notebook, there's one there that says movie quotes. When you click on that, it will automatically load up a Microsoft form that I created in Forms. All right. And I just want to, go ahead and fill out the form. It should launch it. Again, it's probably a bandwidth thing that I got going on. Oops. If I try to click on things, all of a sudden my red marker is still working here. I got to click off of the pen. Go back to the select tool, the little arrow in the draw tab. Then I can get into my forms. So sorry about that, Amy. I just made your notebook a mess. All right. So I'm going to fill out the form, and there's simple 3 questions. I got some movie quote questions in there. If you want to take a couple seconds and do those yourself. Number 1 should be a pretty easy one. You're going to need a bigger boat. Which movie was that in? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Which movie was that in? And there's no crying in baseball. Then you hit submit. All right, so I can embed quizzes in these pages if I wanted to, or I can assign that, whatever way you want to do it. Class notes. All right, so back in your notebook, if you want to do the quiz, you want to do the movie quiz and test yourself, feel free to do that. All right, but I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go over to the class note page now. Again, if something comes up and you get like weird blank screen, something like looks wrong, something didn't load right, just reload the tab. All right. Because like I said, there's a little rounding arrow thing that's underneath your initials in the upper right corner. Or you could refresh the whole screen, but you won't need to do that. Just do the tab. All right, so I'm in my note pages. I click on the units, Unit 5 student notes. So I can embed actual notes in here. You can see that the actual notes are in here twice. All right, so if you want to look on the webinar page, you'll see that I have like some guided notes in here, got some pictures in there. These are the actual notes that I used to make copies of and give out to every single student in my class. And they would be like huge packets. Some of these are like, I don't know, 20 pages long, and I'm doing that times 100 kids. And so that's a lot of paper. So now instead of doing that and going to the copy room and waiting there, and if that even works, I just send my note out this way, and a kid, use their draw tab again. They can either write their notes in if their screens are touch screens, which ours are, or they can come down here and literally drop in and start typing inside of here too. Okay, so it's just something else that you can do. It was ignored because so I'm writing, it's going to go super slow because of the webinar. I'm using my finger. All right, but you can do it that way. Uh-oh, okay, there we go. I lost my mouse for a second. I'm going to click on that arrow again, just to come back over to my tabs. So that's one way in which you can embed notes. And if you come down to labs activities, going back into your notebook, again, you can play with this even after the webinar is done. You can go into your notebook and work around in it. Yeah, see, I'm having some major upload, download speed problems in here. But I think we all get the idea now as far as what it takes to create a class notebook and well, not how to create the notebook, but what it looks like to work in the class notebook. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you how to make a class notebook. All right, and then distributing pages. So I know it's over an hour right now. If you absolutely have to go, I completely understand. I knew this one was going to be a little bit on the longer side because it is so involved, and I'm trying to go slow enough where everybody can kind of stay with me. For those of you that did come in late or just registered late, that's probably why you didn't see any pages in your notebook, because I didn't have a chance to distribute those pages. All right, so that's what the class notebook looks like now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to actually make this notebook actually inside of your team. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm actually going to get out of the level 17. All right. Fake team, which I would strongly recommend that you do. Just keep making fake teams and keep playing around in your sandbox. Use the fake students. Use Peter Parker, use Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, all those guys are in there. Put a couple of those guys in your class. Okay. And that way you can work on creating this notebook, sharing those pages out and distributing pages. All right, so I'm going to do this as a very simple kind of form to make this happen. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a fake team. And if you want to watch the webinar, just, you know, most of you probably already know how to make a fake team, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on join or create team. And I'm going to come down here and do create team. And you got 4 different types of teams that you can make. If you're going to make a fake team, make a fake class team. Because if you make a PLC team or a staff team or another team, you will not see the class notebook. So I'm going to create a class team. All right. And I'm going to call this sample team 5. I think I'm up to, I don't know. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. So now it's going to take a second to make your fake team. All right. And you can make as many fake teams as you need. You can add students. So right now I'm going to only add a student or 2. I'm going to add Johnny Quest, and because I know these guys off the top of my head. So JOHNN. As I'm typing them in, it's going to find them in our directory. So here's Johnny Quest, and I'm also going to add in there Scooby-Doo. So I start typing in Scooby, and Scooby-Doo shows up. Boom. All right, so I'm adding Johnny Quest. I added Scooby-Doo. That's all you need. And I'm going to go ahead and hit add. Okay, so now I've added those 2 students into this team, and I'm going to go ahead and hit close. So all I'm doing is just making a simple team. So now my level 7 icon changed on the webinar. This is a blank team now. There's only 2 students in here, no other teachers, nothing else. This is what a class team is going to look like once you made it. Okay. Again, these are your channels. These are your tabs. Right now, what we're going to do is all I'm going to do is click on Class Notebook. And what it's going to do is it's going to make a class notebook for the first time. It says give your students private space for notes and Canvas for collaboration and so on and so forth. Okay, set up OneNote class notebook. And I'm going to start this from a blank notebook. It's going to tell you, all right, you're going to get a collaboration space. You're going to get a content library. All right, collaboration space, that's that draw it thing that we did that everybody can, you know, teacher can edit, students can edit. You're going to get a content library and view it. And then you're going to get student notebooks. Teacher can edit, students can edit in his or her own content. All right, and can't view other notebooks. Now the next screen here, set up the sections in the student's private space. What I'm recommending, it always defaults to these 4 sections, these 4 tabs that are in your notebook. You know, when you open up your notebook, you had a drawings tab, you had a quizzes tab, you had a notes tab, and the labs and activities. You know, you can always add more tabs as the year goes on, but what I'm going to recommend you do is actually delete 3 of those tabs and only keep 1. You might want to make one of these tabs subplans, because what's really nice, I thought about, is you can make up subplans. Say you're not going to be in tomorrow, and if your kids are used to this format and they're used to coming here, they can go to their own notebook, they can click on the subplans tab, and then boom, it will have all their lessons, all their material, everything will be in there for them to be functional that day. All right, and then all you have to tell the sub to do is tell students to go to their notebook. And the kids will know to go to their notebook. They'll know to open up the subplan thing and tab, and then look in there, and that's where you're going to drop in some pages. Okay. So anyway, so I'm just going to leave one in there. I'm going to call it subplans. If you want to make another one, feel free. If you know one that you already use quite a bit, fine. I'm going to make a second one. I'll call this, I don't know. I'll call it activities. Okay. Again, this is just a plain notebook, no big deal. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit create. It's getting your class notebook ready. It's setting up the 4 or 5 tabs, in this case 2 tabs. It's bringing in those 2 students that I wanted to add. It's creating a notebook for those 2 students. It's creating a notebook of those 2 tabs, class notes and whatever, subplan and class notes. All right. And it also brings in those defaulted tabs, the collaboration tab, the content library, your teacher, and so on and so forth. Okay. So now my class notebook is up and it's fired up and it's ready to go. Remember clicking on the arrow right here. And you can see here's the welcome tab. I have a collaboration space. When I click on collaboration space, I find a whole bunch of pages in there that have already been created by Microsoft. All these pages are just giving you helpful hints and directions, like using the collaboration page. It says the collaboration space is open to anyone in the class, blah, 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 blah. You can always delete that simply by right-clicking and go delete page, permanently delete, and it's gone. All right. The welcome tab, you're going to see a whole bunch of pages in there about what this all is, and you can read all that over as the teacher, but I'm going to just right-click on those, and I'm going to delete those pages as well. Yep, delete. Excuse me. So maybe on the welcome page, maybe I'll leave this, and maybe I'll just, type in some other directions in here. Maybe I'll type in some other things in here that'll help my students figure this out a little better. Content library. All right, so my collaboration space is set. Content library, using the content library, I can get rid of that page too. Go ahead, Raj.
Well, the question is, can you delete a section tab once it's created?
Yes. Like this welcome tab, if I don't want that welcome tab, I can right-click on that and hit delete section. And that tab is gone. Boom, it's gone. But the collaboration space, I cannot delete that. Content library, I cannot delete that. The student himself, I can't even delete the student. I have to go to a different place to get the student out of there. Okay, so any of these ones that are kind of coming in as defaulted tabs, no, those you cannot, can't delete those. Okay. Now the teacher space, when I click on class notebook, what happened to the teacher space here? I think I went to sections. Crap, I forgot how to put the teacher space back in there. That's bad. You really kind of need that. I mean, you could put the stuff in the content library and then pull it down from there. Man, where did I put that? Manage class, no. It's got to be in the settings. Connections, no. App student, no. I thought it automatically made it for me. I guess I was wrong. Hold on. Poop. Raj, do you have any idea? I can't remember off the top of my head now. It's been a long day. Open in browser, class notebook. I need that teacher section. It was in the settings of the actual notebook, which this more options is not giving me the
right. Well, right.
Oh, where did I put that? Oh, on to me. Well, for now, what we're going to do is we're going to put something in your content library, and I'm going to show you real quickly how to distribute that page. Actually, what we can do right now is we're going to distribute this page to the student notebooks. All right, so there's already those pre-created pages that are in your notebook that you can delete if you don't want them in there. But like, let's say, for example, this is actual work. All right, maybe this is a lesson that I'm doing here, this getting started page. Let's say I want this page to go out to all my students' notebooks. All right, so the first thing I have to do is come over to this class notebook. All right, this tab here that says class notebook. This is the page I want to share out. So all I'm going to do is click on distribute page. Once I distribute the page, who do you want it to go to? Do you want just to distribute the page to everybody? Do you want it to go to one person? You can pre-establish a group of people, like maybe just your special ed kids, I don't know. Cross notebook distribution, which means it can go from this notebook to another team's notebook if you wanted it to, or I can actually just delete a page. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the page. And then another pop-up menu is going to happen, and it's going to say, all right, where do you want this page to go? Coming in. Do I want it to go to the activities tab, or do I want it to go to the subplans? Well, this is an activity, so I want it to go in the activities tab. So I'm going to click on activities. Notice the purple now shows up distribute. Yes. So now I'm going to distribute that page. Now you'll get a little taskbar thing. So right now what it's doing is it's distributing the page to all the students in my class. In this case, there's only 2 students, so it should show up relatively quickly. All right, it says done. I'm going to click on this arrow to show my tabs again. I'm going to go to Johnny Quest Notebook. Here are the 2 tabs we created already. I put it in the Activities tab. Now, it might not be there right away. Oh, no, it's actually there. Getting started with that. Here's that page right there that I just distributed. Right there. Okay. I'm going to come down to Scooby-Doo just to make sure that he got it too. I'm going to go to his Activities tab. Sometimes they're in different orders. Right? It's usually there's a blank page that starts in there first too. But I'm going to go to Getting Started, and there it is there too. So I know that Johnny Quest got it. I know that Scooby-Doo got it. And I can have 80 other people. I know that 80 other people got it as well. Okay. Now, since it's theirs, and Scooby-Doo, this is his, all right, and I clicked on this, this is now Scooby-Doo's folder. Scooby-Doo can come in here and he can write all he wants to write inside of this document right here, right? And then, as the teacher, I could see if Scooby-Doo is doing the activity inside his notebook. I could see if Scooby-Doo is writing notes or not. Okay, so that's how you would distribute just a page to all the notebooks in the class. All right. Distribute new section. This would be just distributing a new section. That's not going to take all the work that's in the section, but I'm going to create a new section in everybody's notebook. All right, because right now all I have in there are subplans and activities. Well, maybe I want to add in there quizzes. Q-U-R-Z-Z-S. All right, distribute. So now it's distributing a new section to every single kid's notebook. Okay, and it says distributed, which means it's done. Click on my arrow. I can go to Johnny Quest folder now. Oops, I'm going to have to refresh. So once you refresh the page, then you'll notice that, and sometimes, we'll warn you now, sometimes, especially depending on what you're sending over, what you're syncing to, it could take a day. That's why I was up last night doing this until 3, because I wanted to make sure that all those assignments or those activities were inside of each of your level 7 folders. Okay, so I do apologize for those of you that joined us, just jumped in the webinar. I wasn't able to do that for you, but I think you get the idea. All right, so here's activities, here's quizzes now. So I click on quizzes, and that section is now there. That's in Scooby-Doo's folder. or tab. That's in Johnny Quest's notebook. All right, so I've just created a new section doing that. So by clicking on class notebooks, that's how it's able to happen. Okay. So I don't know why. I must have missed a click when I was creating this really quickly. But the teacher section needs to show up. And I just want to make sure, I don't know why that teacher section didn't show up. I had to have missed something along the way here. But anyway, so it's probably in the settings of the actual notebook.
Okay. I think we have a good question here, Ed, about tabs and things and sections. Can it be distributed in advance and be available at a later date? In other words, timed for that?
I don't think so. I don't think there's a way to schedule a tab to go out. You know what I mean? Like you can create the tab and then just not send any pages over until like the night before.
Right. But all of that's doable when we actually get into the assignments portion of Teams.
Of Teams.
Right.
So that would be your level 6.
Be right. But they can be dated to appear, disappear, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Remember, your class notebook is just that. It's just a notebook. Like for me personally, if I want to give a kid an assignment, I'm going to give them I'm not going to probably do too much assignment-wise in the notebook. All right, I want to use the notebook for notes. I want to use the notebook maybe for some collaboration things and those kinds of deals. But for the most part, ladies and gentlemen, I think level 6 is probably where you could live for at least the remainder of this school year. Some people don't even want to even bother in the class notebook, and that's fine. Some people like doing notes the old school way. Like even myself, I don't know. I told Kim last night, I'm like, I don't know if I would take notes this way. A lot of kids, we find that a lot of the high school kids, they don't like taking digital notes. They would write them out, but now you got to make copies and then the kid loses it. Then you got to get him another copy. And it's, there's pros and cons, I guess, both ways. But I don't know. I think if you want to give out an assignment, just go with assignments. And that's all level 6 stuff. So if you've already had level 6 training and you know how to give out assignments, you can live there for the rest of this year and even in the next year and beyond if you really wanted to. The notebook itself is, like I said, it's very robust. It can do a lot of things. Sometimes that's the knock on Microsoft Office is that it does too much, right? And it needs to be simpler, and Steve Kudis, to his credit, now, I'll tip my hat whenever somebody's right. Yes, Google Classroom to a degree is an easier platform to work in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. All right. Again, we're trying to prepare our kids for tomorrow. We're trying to prepare them with products that they're going to use after they get out of school. And the business world is not using, I don't want to say they're not using Google Docs. I'm sure there are some businesses using it, but the regular everyday Joe business world, no, it's going to be PowerPoints, Word documents, and Excel spreadsheets. That's what they're using. You're not going to see, Forbes and company. You're not going to see them using Google Docs to do any of their work. All right. You're going to see them in Office. You're going to see them in Teams. And that's why when COVID hit, and I've said this in every single one of my webinars, that's why when COVID hit and businesses shut down and schools shut down, that's why Teams, Microsoft Teams, exploded by 450%. I don't even know if Microsoft was ready for that. I think it actually shut them down during the first week. It actually crashed their system because so many businesses got in on it because they had to keep their businesses alive and keep their businesses going. So that's just my 2 cents on what I think and feel and believe as far as the difference between Office and maybe a little bit of Google. At the end of the day, we're trying to prepare our kids. So yes, this might be a little bit more trickier for the teacher, but that's it's kind of the job. Not everything's easy that we do, and I think parents are starting to finally realize that. Was it Jimmy Kimmel or Colbert, one of those guys? They were interviewing parents on the streets the other day, or just calling parents. However, I didn't see the segment. My mother told me about it. She said that, oh my God, teachers should be making more than President Trump. Teachers should be making a lot more money than what we're making. Because of what we have to deal with. And these parents are just dealing with 1 kid, 2 kids in their house. Try 30 in front of them at one time. I don't think people realize how much we really do. So
Is it possible to go back over how to distribute a page?
Sure. All right, so I'm in my fake class again. Or actually, you know what I'll do? I don't know if it's going to work too well in the level 7, but I'll do it in the level 7 just to show the teacher and student way of doing it. Okay, so I had to refresh the page. So now I'm coming back in. I get to my welcome page. I just opened up this team again. I think if this is as much as you need to do to be a level 7, and that is just creating your master notebook or creating your teacher section, which again, I got to find out how to get that teacher only in there because that's really, really bothering me. Anyways, so I go to teacher only or the content library. All right, so now I have tabs inside of here. I really, really, really need to figure that out. I think I did that in the app. Shoot, now that I think of it. Anyways, all right, so let's make just a quick quiz here. All right, and oops, I don't want that. I want to go to a page. So I want to add a page in my quizzes section. So I went to my tab. You can do this in the content library. You can do this in the teacher only section. And I'm just going to go fake quiz. And the question is, how many people did I lose in this webinar? And then, okay, that's good. That's all I want. All right, so that's my page. That's the quiz. Now I want to take this quiz and I want to send this out to every single one of your notebooks. All right, again, this would probably be better as an assignment, but maybe I want to throw this into a notebook instead. All right, so right now I'm on my home of the notebook. I'm going to come over here to the class notebook. All right, because now I'm dealing in the notebook. I want to spread pages out. So I'm going to go to distribute page, distribute the page, and it's going to say, all right. So I got the fake quiz highlighted here. So it said it's going to distribute this fake quiz page. And again, as a warning, I would do this the night before. If you're doing this as the kids are walking into your class, it may or may not show up, depending on how much stuff you're putting in this. You know, like I'm hoping that this document will come right over. But here are the tabs that are inside my student's notebook right now. And I made a quiz. I'm going to click on quiz. I'm going to click distribute. So it's literally 3 clicks. Class notebook, distribute page, and then bang, throw it there. You'll get the taskbar, waiting to start. This could be my modem, my router. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So now it's starting. I'm at 0% complete. It'll go pretty quickly once it connects here. But again, I got like 85 students in this class. It's going out to 85 different notebooks all at the same time. And it's going to the right section of those notebooks. And it's bringing over that little sentence that I brought in there as well. Again, you can put a Word document in there, Excel. You can put a PowerPoint in there and share that PowerPoint out if you wanted to do that. You can put a video to a link, or a video to, a link to a video, link to a YouTube video if you want to show them a certain math problem.
Can we just go back 2 steps?
Mm-hmm.
You create the page you want to distribute. You're not in the class notebook at that point.
No, I'm still in the class notebook.
But the distribution is in the class notebook. Is that
right? And then you have other mini tabs, because once I'm in the class notebook, now I have new tabs up top here. So all these tabs here are dealing with the class notebook itself.
Yes.
Okay.
The page that you want to distribute, the fake quiz, was not created in the class notebook, was it?
No, actually, I did create it in the class notebook. Yep.
Okay, I thought you created it.
Too,
okay, but you have to be in the class notebook. I'm asking. This is a question in the question panel. You have to be in the class notebook and click on the page to distribute it.
Right, you have to have that page highlighted. Right, so I'm in the quizzes tab. I have 2 quizzes that are sitting in there. One's movie quotes from forums. The other one is a fake quiz. All right, so I just created, I can create another one right now. I click on page down here at the bottom. All right, so now I'm adding a new page. That's why it says untitled. Fake quiz 2. And then I can type in here another question. Color is the sky. All right, I don't have to hit save. I don't have to hit close. It's just a live functioning working document. All right, so here's fake quiz number 2. I want all my students to have this right now. All right, so I'm going to click on this class notebook again. Over here to distribute the page. Distribute page. All right, it's going to tell me where do you want to send it, because this is the page I have highlighted. So whatever page is highlighted here, that's what I'm going to share. All right, so now it says select the student section where you want to distribute the fake quiz to. All right, well, I want it to go to quizzes. Or maybe this time, instead of quizzes, maybe I want it to go to labs or activities. And then I'm going to hit distribute. All right, now, inside of all of your notebooks, if you go to your own notebook right now in the level 17, if you go to your own notebook, you're going to see fake quiz 1 inside your quizzes tab. You're going to see fake quiz 2 inside your labs or activities tab. Well, not right now. It's still syncing over, but it will eventually get there. And how do I know it's going to eventually get there? I can go down here. I'll go to Amy Beckett's class again, or her folder. And I'm going to come down here to quizzes, and I'm going to click on my green, and I'm going to have to refresh the page. Not refresh the page, but refresh the tab. But you can see now why I would want to do this like the night before. All right, you definitely don't want to do this as the kids are walking in. Sometimes it works, you know, but it is 3 o'clock our time, California time. So you have the whole United States that are kind of working right now in teams, slowing things down in the Microsoft world. Also, my router right now is being used. I can hear my son on his webinar upstairs. But anyways, so I'm in Amy Beckett's notebook now. I click on quizzes. Here's that fake quiz right there. Here's fake quiz. How many people did I lose in this webinar? You lost me for sure. Okay, I'm not hitting save, I'm not hitting send, I'm not hitting submit. I just typed it in there. All right. Now, as the teacher, I can go to Amy Beckett's folder. I can go down to Denise Karski's folder, see what she put in there. I can go to Brian Collins' folder, Devin Tier's folder. I can see what everybody is writing inside their folder. All right. So this is why I'm recommending that you create your sample team, play around with the notebook there, distribute the pages, but all that, everything that I'm doing right now, if you click on files again, all right, at the top of the level 17, you click on that files, you go into the class materials and download that click-by-click tutorial thing. Click here, click there. It will show you how to do it. All right, as far as making the team, there's that level 7, there's the tutorial link right there. So when you click on this bad boy, it opens up that document again, and much summarizes a lot of the things that I was doing today. All right, creating a new notebook, it's pretty simple, honestly. That you just click on the create notebook inside the team, and then how you use it. Here's how you provide feedback. Here's that right here. Distribute the pages and sections in a class notebook. This is a very good graphic on how to do it. Everything I just demonstrated right there, I'm going to click here right now. All right. It's going to take me right to the support page that Microsoft has. And here it is here. Distribute pages and sections to class notebooks. So here's how you're going to distribute a page to all your students. Okay. And it tells you step 1, open your notebook. Content library or collaboration space. Select the class notebook. All right. Then select distribute page. Where do you want to send it? And so on and so forth. So it gives you all the steps, click by click, of what you need to do. Okay. I truly believe that the best way of learning this is to honestly do it, and that's why I recommend making those fake teams. Okay, what other questions I got? Because I'm done showing new stuff. I know people are probably fried on a Friday night. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It is.
You know,
Up
but
in
I'll be
Nova
more than
Scotia.
happy to.
How do you add the
to
teacher only tab? That's popped up a couple times. Patty Gabriel said she figured it out or remembered where to do it. That is again the teacher section only.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get there. Hold on, that might take me a second. I thought that was one of those automatic sections, but I guess it's not. Collaboration space and content library are the only two places that it's showing up in. Because now I come back here to my level 17 that I made last night.
Is it in you mentioned it might be in the app?
I might have made this in the app,
and
or may have added.
Didn't really distinguish that. The app versus
I didn't. I was originally, this is what you and I and what Mike and I were talking about making a master notebook first and then sharing the pages to the team, and I just thought that was going to get way too confusing.
Yeah.
So let me see if I go to class notebook, see if it's showing up here now, because I don't think it's going to be in here. Well, you know what? It might be in here. Level 7 varsity team. Teacher group is enabled. All right, so I'm going to click back. Sample notebook 3. What did I name it over here? Sample team 5 notebook. How come it's not showing up? It should show up. But this is where you would go. Sample team 5 notebook should be showing up in here. But again, this is a syncing thing between teams out to OneNote and so on and so forth. But anyways, this is where you would go. So let me demonstrate that again. All right. So when you land in Office 365, you click on Teams. This is where you make the actual notebook. All right. When you make a notebook in Teams, it automatically sends it over here to Class Notebook. So when I click on Class Notebook, now it's not over here yet because I just literally made the team like 5-10 minutes ago. Okay. So I'm going to go to manage that notebook.
Patty has a point she'd like to make. If we could unmute her.
Please, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, Patty.
Thank you. Ed, go back to your class notebook, please.
Lost you. Hold on. Say it again.
Go back to the class notebook that you had. Okay, see where it says class notebook, where it says like file home? Click there. Click that. And the 3 dots to the right. And then it says manage classes.
I thought this was going to send me to, you're in a webinar. You're just trying to move.
No, I was playing around on the team I had with Carly.
Oh, good. All right. See, that's what I mean. Half the time, you just got to sit down and play with this crap. All right. Come on. Yeah, no, this is just sending me to the managed team. Yeah, no, sending me right back here again. So I'm going to go manage the team here.
Mine was, when I did it with Carly's, that's where it.
Let me go to settings. See, it's going to tell me head to class notebook in the general channel to manage the settings.
Mine says manage notebooks in there. When I went to those, when I did the class notebook, then the 3 dots, it said manage the settings, and then it went in there.
Give me that choice. Let me go back to my fake team. Class notebooks. Yeah, it's not giving me that choice. Grr.
And there it is.
Class notebook. No, that's not.
I don't know. I thought it said manage. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's what I mean. I'm like, where is it? I clicked on it.
That's where mine was in there.
And you were able to activate the teacher content area?
Yeah, I can show you. And well, you know.
Yeah.
Again, is this a difference between the app and the 365 Teams?
It might be. It might very well be, but I didn't think I didn't do that. Oh, well, if I have it on that. All right. Well, if I find it, which I know I'm going to find it as soon as I end the webinar, I'm going to go right to it. It's going to be
I'm going to suggest, Ed, that there are a number of unanswered questions. If people did you set up a follow-up survey for the webinar?
No, you know what? I don't think I did. No, I didn't.
Then say if people could repost their questions there.
Okay.
Unless you want to go through them, we can.
I mean, what we could do is people in the collaboration space. What I'll do is in the collaboration space, I'll go to collaboration activities. I'm going to make a new page. Then all I'm going to say here is questions or feedback. So right here in the level 7 team, I'll put this right up top here. I can reorder the pages. I thought I could. No, you can reorder tabs, but you can't reorder the page. Yeah, you can reorder pages. Anyways, there's a page in there that says questions or feedback. It's in the collaboration space. You can just go ahead and type in that space and I'll be able to see it because it's in the collaboration space and everybody can function in that world. We can handle it in there. But yeah, that's really paragraph form. I don't know why. There's classes. Nope. Connections. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. But go ahead and answer. Is there any more questions that we can take that maybe I cannot answer as well?
Let's see. That's the challenge, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's pull them up and see. They were coming in fast and furious, and before or after on the pages that we were talking about that distribution button, the fact that there's a high level of frustration given all of the things that were piling on people from between Nearpod and PowerPoint and forms and assignments and PowerSchool and so on. And I just think it's we do have, fortunately or unfortunately, the luxury of some time to let these things kind of level off with, and every teacher's going to find their own style, what things that feel more natural and work well for them versus something else they may have picked up or that we've shown in one of these webinars and trainings and so on. Some of the questions have to do with is there about concern about cheating, that students would be cheating if they're collaborating or things of that nature.
Yeah, I think who was it? I think Erin Schwenkbeck was one of those teachers who she was never crazy about the class notebook, right? I believe Erin is out there. Erin, I'm going to turn your microphone on if you wouldn't mind. Go ahead and fix your hair. Go ahead and put on the lipstick. Do whatever else you have to do, even though nobody can see you. Erin, are you there by any chance?
Yeah, I am.
Erin, what's been your experience with the OneNote, with the notebook? Because I know that you don't like the kids to be writing their notes in here because of the copying and the cutting and the experience with this.
Well, I wasn't too comfortable at the beginning of the year teaching a new course with having them turn work in online. So I wanted it turned in, handed in by a specific time. And I was concerned students would be turning stuff in at all hours of the night. So I used the OneNote notebook and not the class notebook. So I push the information out and I support them in class with the material. And then if they didn't complete the material in the class time, they still had access to it at home and could continue to work on it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I couldn't remember. And Mike had mentioned your name, and he had mentioned that you and he worked a little bit together about. I couldn't remember if it was in OneNote or if it was in a class notebook, one or the other. I couldn't. That's why I wanted to bring you on here.
Yeah, I see the benefit
How's
of the
that been
class
going?
notebook for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's just of all the things in Teams, this is the one thing that has given me personally the most problems, the most headaches, and the most amount of, or the least amount of sleep, has been this class notebook, because I can see, you know, how people can get frustrated.
I had trouble distributing pages. Like you said, it is a lot of lag time, and I was doing it the night before, and I wasn't sure if it was actually going into the student binder, so I just kind of threw in the towel on it and decided to just go with the OneNote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you know what? They know. Microsoft knows. You know, I've sat in now on a couple different webinars, not from people, but from Microsoft itself, and they know that this is a robust, and that's the word they always use. This is a robust program. All right, and this is a very robust component to the team itself. So, you know, they know that it's kind of tricky, and that's Microsoft, and Phil is saying the same thing, is that they are listening to the people out there. They're listening to people in the field, and they want that feedback. They want to know what is giving you the hardest time here. So, you know, I think that at least they are listening. And we just had a meeting with Ray that we have a Microsoft Office person that's going to be working directly with us, at least with the 5 presenters, and then we'll let it trickle down to our teachers. So hopefully we'll get there. All right. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you for sharing.
I'd say a good suggestion, Ed, was to repost questions and things back in the team, where you'll get a chance to look at them rather than not at the end of a long day here.
Yeah.
And how did you add other things like adding the whiteboard page? All of those questions. Class notebook.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'm going to put a quick summary email together and then send that off, and I'm going to have that. Click on that link by link page. Make sure you download that page before you leave the webinar, ladies and gentlemen. That's the you know, the page that you you know, if you click here, how to distribute pages or sections, click here to do this and those kinds of things. So I'm just going over the steps one more time. Maybe I missed a click when I was building that team. You know, about that teacher section, because that's really bothering me. Big Team 8. But I got a feeling that I probably went back into the OneNote app and fixed it from there. So I'll go to Scooby. I like picking on Scooby because it's easy to somewhat. Oops, that's Scobby. But yeah, no, I definitely will. I'll do that. I'll do more of a follow-up to everybody and make sure that, you know, once I find that teacher section, how to add that, I'll add that on the link, or I'll create a small video on that too.
I put a big check mark next to a note I'm taking on that to pursue it as well. So.
Okay. Yeah, but you know what? I'll bet you I know where I think where I went wrong here. But yeah, again, like Aaron said, you know, the best thing. Oh, it's Friday. You can tell. Look at this. Not even the computer wants to work anymore. It's had it. But you know, I really do think it's just a trial and error thing. I really do think it's you know, just keep, you know, make a fake class, put those couple students in there, work through it, and I think you'll find, you know, like when it finally does click for you, and you might have to sit through the webinar a couple times just to see it a couple times, but I do think once it clicks, it will click. Now for me, it's just, you know, I'm trying to also present it to people so that it's the easiest format that I can think of, and maybe I did a bad job of this one, but I don't know. We'll see if we can get this guy to go, and you know, we'll take it from there. And one more time, and it doesn't look like it wants to even go right now. I don't know. It's just been a very, I don't know. We'll see. But thank you. If you want to sign off, by all means, you can sign off. I'm going to stay on. Audrey, if you're more than welcome to jump off yourself. But I'm going to stay on real quick. And looks like my team did show up. Here it is. Sample teams. That's it right here. let me show you how I did this. All right. Now, when you make your notebook in Teams, all right, I went to my team, I click on class notebook, I make the sections, I add the, all the stuff to it. What it's doing is it's sending that notebook over to this icon here called class notebook. So when I clicked on class notebooks, it's going to ask you, what do you want to do with the class notebook? Do you want to create one? Do you want to add or remove some kids? Do you want to put a teacher in there? But I want to manage my notebook. So I click on that last one. Now you can see here, my sample team 5 just showed up. All right. So I click on that guy. Here are the sections that are in that notebook right now that the students get. These are the student sections. Here was the sub-plans, the quizzes, the activities. If I want to add another section, I can do it right here too, or I can do it in the team. Any way, you want to do it. So I'll add a draw section. I'm going to hit save. Okay, so now I have another section now that has been sent out to all of your notebooks called draw. All right. I'm going to enable a teacher-only section group, so it's now enabling that. So now I'm going to get that separate teacher section. So I can start putting my stuff in there, my staging area stuff in there, and then that's where I'm going to start putting it in the kids' books. This is where you would go to lock the collaboration space too.
Yeah. Can
right
you
now
make
it's
these?
unlocked. Anybody can do that.
A question here right on top of this, which I think is a good one, is can you make these changes across all notebooks in all teams?
No, because
one at a time, right? You could do it one at a time.
Yeah, you'd have to do them one at a time. Yeah, because once you create a notebook in a team, it's unique just to that team. But what you could do is once you create a notebook in a team, I can always take a page out of that notebook and send it to another team. All right, I could send it to another notebook in another team, is what I'm saying. But as far as making one click and then all my notebooks in every single class, it's all changing simultaneously, no, that won't happen because it's in a separate team, separate locations. All right. So if I want to lock the collaboration page down where I don't want kids to work or want to put kids to write anything in there, that's what this does. I left it open so that everybody can do the draw thing. All right. I can change permissions in there. I can get an actual link to the notebook itself, so I can put that link, and I can put a code in that thing too, so that and then I can post that link on my webpage if I wanted to. But so I'm going to go ahead and click on that notebook again. So it's going to open up that notebook in the team. Or no, is it going to open up? No, it's just opening up the OneNote notebook. So this is how it looks when you work on just the notebook in isolation. Like I don't like to work on it maybe you don't want to work on it in the teams. That way it gives you a bigger area to work here. All right, but this is that same notebook that's in this team, in that fake team that I just made up. All right, that's what this notebook is. I'm just working on it in the class notebook app. So you can work on it in the team, or you can work on it through the app. All right. There's no, I don't know if there's any real benefit to working on it, just other than giving you more space. But you can see here, all the tabs are showing up for Johnny Quest. All the tabs are showing up for Scooby-Doo. And you can now see my teacher-only tab just showed up. Okay. So now this is where I do my staging area stuff. This is where I start adding my pages. This is where I can go to the coach's OneNote notebook and then bring stuff in. Okay, so that's how that guy is done. I'll just show that one more time real quick. I went to the app instead. All right. So instead of going to Teams, I want to actually do something functional to the actual notebook, something I need a little more power to do. And that's where I went in here. Went to that class notebook and I did the manage notebook. Then I pick it. And then enable teacher-only section group.
So that's where you can make those changes to any notebook that you've created and for any class, etc. Right.
Any class notebook, correct.
Right.
Any class notebook. I have a separate OneNote notebook app right here. Okay. So these are all those OneNote notebooks that I showed you at the very, very beginning. Like the kindergarten notebook that was right over here. This is the notebook that Joanne Washkalis put together. All right, and all the coaches, threw in. We just organized these. All right, so this is a OneNote notebook. Like this is what Erin Schwenkbeck is using. All right, she uses this the OneNote notebook. You'll see there's no kids' names down here. It's just the subjects or the units or the projects or whatever you want to do here in the tab, and then just a list of pages within each of those tabs. So a kid could, in essence, just come over here, or maybe this is Unit 2, and then maybe this is the Unit 2 notes, maybe this is a Unit 2 activity, maybe this is the Journeys activity here, maybe this is a video of there, and so on and so forth, and working their way through the notebook. All right, so that's a OneNote notebook versus a class notebook. That's what these guys are. Class notebooks are a lot more, I use the word robust, and I think now you see why it's very robust.
So why would you have separate teams? This really is what we're talking about with secondary teachers. Mm-hmm. A team for maybe each class period.
For Mod 2, a team for Mod 3. Right. You don't have to. You definitely don't have to. Some people like to keep it separated only because when it comes to record keeping, when it comes to assignments, so you send off an assignment, all the kids do it, and now I'm taking my grades from my Mod 2 team, and now I got to go over to Power Schools and put in the Mod 2 grades. All the kids here on the teams are going to match the kids in Power School. If I make one team and merge all my classes into one team, which you can do, it's probably what I would do, to be honest with you. You can merge all of your classes into one team, and that way you're only managing one team, one class notebook, sending assignments out in one place, and so on and so forth. You can by all means do that. I believe that's what my wife has done as well.
Yeah. And you could have a different channel for each period if you wanted to do it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, you can do that. If you wanted to separate kids out, by all means, you can do that. Yeah, and that, so that's, again, when you deal with the general channel, that's the whole house. So maybe that's all the kids. And then maybe you have a separate channel for Mod 2. Maybe you have a separate channel for Mod 3, Mod 4, Mod 5. But, it's kind of like if I'm teaching geometry to Mod 2, 3, 4, I mean, how much is my class really going to change from Mod 2 to Mod 3 to Mod 4? Unless the student clientele in there is just dramatically different, but nevertheless. If anybody else is still out there, I'm, first of all, super impressed that you've been on the line here. I've got 13 people left. I'm super impressed that you're still out there. It's been almost 2 hours, so you're doing a good job. What other questions do we got here?
Really, they're touching back and forth on, shades of the same question about having different teams and managing the notebooks and so on. And I think really, as you've been saying a couple times now, the best advice is to go in and create a team, use the BAKE students, and get comfortable with all the various procedures and things that you want to try, and come back to the next session with a broader base of understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, I recommend that to everybody. I know this was a long one, but I would strongly recommend this level 7. I consider myself a level 7.5. I don't even consider myself an 8 yet with all this, just because there's just so much, and especially when you get into this notebook. I definitely see the power behind it, but I definitely need more time with it. Just something as simple as, well, what happened to the teacher only thing? I'm like, oh God, that was stupid. You got to go to this over here and do that. So yes, the naysayers that are out there, I see why they say you got to click 1,000 different places. I get it.
But that teacher only, I think that is, a very strong recommendation, and surprised it's not an automatic default setting.
Right.
In your
just like collaboration
content.
And content
right,
collaborate.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that should be something that is, front and center right there. I
take it out if you don't want it, but keep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. But I'm just kind of going through some of the questions here as well. How do I change the tabs? You simply right-click on the tabs. Right-click on them and then rename them. All right. Can it be distributed in advance and be available at a later date? We already talked about that. Teacher section added through distribute page. Yeah. No, yeah, if you want to add a teacher section, you do it at the bottom of the page. Let me just pull that up there. But yeah, I'm going to start wrapping it up here. I think 2 hours is long enough for anybody. But yeah, so I just went to the class notebook in my level 7 team. And again, if you want to just add sections, if you want to add new tabs, you go to the very bottom, you'll see a plus section. If you want a new page, go to the very bottom, you'll see a plus page. All right, it's getting there now.
Look at the bottom question, Ed.
Okay, 1 second, I just want to get this screen up. There you go. All right, so if you want to add new tabs in the collaboration space, you have to open the collaboration space, then I can hit new section. If you want to add new section, new tab inside the content library, you have to click on the content library, open it up, and then you can hit new section in the content library. If I want to add new tab inside of the teacher only, open up the teacher only, and then hit your plus section down here, and that'll add a new tab. New tab.
Jessica has a question. If again, it's the last one on your list. Now it's the second last. You're welcome, Catherine. Jessica has. Can we open Jessica's mic and let her ask her question? Jessica, you're okay?
Yeah. Hi, guys. Thank you so much. I am really trying to integrate all this, and I'm finding it, as I've been saying, very frustrating because I find there to be no easy way to push this information out at one time to all my classes. So using the different teams that I have it set up as of right now, I have period 2, period 3, whatever. I'm finding it that if I have to make a change to an assignment, I have to then go back into each team, change each assignment, then I change, it's like very frustrating that there's no easy way to push out this information all at once. Like in PowerSchool, I say, okay, the assignment is worth 2 points, done. I can change that across all classes at one click. This seems to be like there's constant back and forth. Like if I'm using assignments, am I using the notebook? Am I using Nearpod? Am I using forms? There's no way to merge the data. I have to keep looking at all these different platforms to find out if my kids have even done anything. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I get it. And this comes because you're personally a little bit of an overachiever because you're really out there. You're using all the products in the world there. You got Nearpod going on, you got Forms, you got Teams, you got, so you got to kind of figure out what your mojo is, and that's going to be on a personal level. So like for you, for example, maybe you might want to pull away from Nearpod for a little bit. Maybe you might want to not do so many forms. Maybe you just want to concentrate on just assignments. But I see what you mean. Like once you post an assignment, as far as getting back into it and say, oh, I should have done this on that assignment, the easier bet might be just to delete the assignment and then resend it again right afterwards.
But you can't delete an assignment, or maybe can you? Can you delete, if you created the assignment and went out to all the different classes, you can't just delete the assignment and it deletes across all classes. You still have to go into each class.
You have to go into each class, yeah.
Is there there's no way to simplify this?
Other than merging all your students into one team, that would be about the only other bet. And again, when you do that and you send an assignment out from one team, there is a way, and again, this is another thing you can do, and that's why we're trying to eliminate all the different things you can do. We're trying to just narrow it down to what you need to survive. But the other thing you can do is once you have a grade set, you can always export it into Excel. And again, this is another PD for another day, but you can always upload Excel results from teams into, so if you had all of your kids in one team and you have one assignment that went out, and I have 100 of these kids' names with their student ID numbers in a grade, you can always import that directly into PowerSchool. And then eventually the other thing too is teams will eventually talk to PowerSchools. All right, and then it will automatically put the grades in. So it will start, there will be a marriage between those as well. But yeah, as far as once you put that assignment out, you're right. If you have to change it, you would have to change it in each team. You can send it out one time to all the teams, but knowing that, are you sure this is the right assignment? This is what you want to do? And then, okay, it's just how it works. I don't know any other system that would do it differently. I don't even know if Google Classroom you can make one change to an assignment and it will change it across all the classes. I don't think it will. I think that's just the way the programs work now. But I'm sure they're going to develop into that.
If you have different channels within the team, and you have your different you have your class notebook, and you have, like, let's say one team, but you have it broken down, you have like period 2, period 3, period 4, whatever. Can you grade them can you see the grade by the period if you break it down into different channels?
Well, you lost me on that one. So you can.
Okay, so let's say I have my general team, right? I merge all my students, all my periods into one team, so that I'm not constantly back and forth. A channel for my period 2, so I know who's in my period 2, so I'm not constantly looking, did they do the assignment or not? I can see it a little bit more easily.
No, if you just make a channel and you just call that channel period 2, it's just your name. It's instead of naming your bedroom, you're going to name it period 2. It's just another room, but you would not be able to put kids. You would not separate kids out into that channel. Like that's not. No, the channel is just like an idea. It's just kind of like a place where you're doing work. It's like, okay, only 5 of you guys are gonna go up to the den right now and work in the den and work on project XYZ. So it's just a collaboration space, but it's not a place for record keeping or something like that.
So there's no way to separate them out by period then within the team?
Not necessarily, but there is tags that I'm not familiar with, but I've heard that there is a way you can tag.
The tagging might work, help out with this. From what I understand of the tagging, you can create an assignment and tag it, and I think it can track them maybe that way.
Yeah, this is the level that we, even the trainers, are still trying to figure out, because this has been a slow, gradual thing for all of us. Then all of a sudden, COVID, okay, we all got to do it like right now. So we're all still learning this, and trying to teach others at the same time. But
no, I understand. I just feel it's frustrating that the things don't talk to each other.
Well, I mean, they do, but I see what your point is for sure, as far as like assignments and all that.
Yeah, like forms. If you do forms, it doesn't show up in assignments. Like I have to then go into forms.
Sure, it can. You can.
Mine doesn't show.
You can build a form into an assignment.
Yes, but if you put a form inside, if I have found that if I had a form inside of something else, I have to then go into the forms section to grade it. I can't grade it. I can't look at the grade.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I can't look at the results within assignments.
Yeah, I was talking with Max on that one after the level 6 webinar, and we were saying the same thing. Yeah, because with forms is really more of a data collection tool. It's not. I mean, it is integrated, but it's not integrated. I mean, you could put the assignment out through Teams, but then you would have to go to the form to see the results. That's the same as in Google. If you're using Google Forms, same thing. You'd have to go to the form itself to see what the responses were.
Yeah, there's that aspect of when you look at responses in forms. There is an option after your students have taken it to post the scores, and I'm not sure what that looks like. If that would help with this.
Within forms.
Within forms, yes.
Because it's
where it posts it. You can look at it in an Excel spreadsheet, but there's another option to post the scores. But I don't know what that looks like because I never had students to work with. I'll try that with Scooby-Doo and his friends this weekend and see what
that would see. The other thing about forms is I have to keep looking back and keep looking and keep looking. Did someone new do it? Did someone new do it? And there's no way to get notified if someone new has done it. And that is also very time consuming.
Yeah, like I said, it depends on what the assignment is. And see, but we're also in a different situation where we can't go by due dates anymore. And we can't give scores anymore. Like it's just we're at the mercy of the kids of them doing it. And my wife is feeling the same way too. She's like, all I'm doing is just checking, and it has nothing to do with Teams. It has nothing to do with forms. It's just all I'm doing is just constantly checking to see if any kids did anything today. And that is
Right.
definitely an issue.
Yeah.
And that it wouldn't matter what program we're using right now. I'm not,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't care if
There's-
it's Google or Office. It would be all in the same boat.
It would just be cool if you could be able to see that you've already checked something. Like in assignments, you can see, oh yeah, I graded that, now it disappears, right? Okay, that's fine. But in forms, there's no way. Is there a way to say, okay, I've already seen that kid's form. I don't need to keep
Yes,
seeing
you
that.
can. You can.
Oh, how?
When you're within Office 365 and Forms, one of the options when you create the form is to make sure the students are signed in to take it, and then it takes their name with that, and you can get notified. That's one of the options in the settings, is that you get a email indicating that so and so has submitted a form, and you can track it that way. It's going to maybe wreak havoc with your inbox, but you can get individual notification for every student who completed the form.
But is there a way to stop seeing their stuff, like to hide it? Like in assignments.
Well, once they do it,
Yeah, once they do it, I don't have to keep, like, I already see it, that they did it. Okay, check. I don't want to keep seeing them.
Yeah,
because it's a live form.
Like some of my kids can't sign into Office for some reason, whatever. So I put the form also on my website, right? So when they log in 5, let's say, so I have to click in who's respondent 5. Okay, I've seen them. Okay, I've already done them. I've seen them. I've seen the responses. I want to stop constantly having to search for the new people.
Well, I guess that's where.
I don't know if I'm explaining my question right.
No, you are. It's just, again, it's the situation that we're in, that there is no such thing as due dates anymore. And we can't penalize the kid as long as they do it. You can set this thing up, like on my webinar screen right now, I can have a start date and end date. So I wouldn't check it until that end date is done.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what, and then notifications, get an email notification of each response, kind of a thing of when people are responding. So that's what Roger was talking about in here. All right,
Yeah,
so I
maybe I'll just set it up that way.
Yeah. And if you go into the responses tab there, Ed, you've got 15 responses or something. There you go. And then I don't know where that post scores option goes. You can review individual students, but I'm not sure where that goes. Now, where it says respondent 1 through 14, those would be student names if that was your requirement in your settings.
If they were logged in.
If they were logged in when they took it.
Right, but I'm not making it that way for the
right now you're not. No. Your kids aren't in teams yet, are they?
Yeah, my kids are, well, I'm trying, but I have so few who are even participating.
I think you're right, but
they're all shutting down.
Yeah, but going forward, that's one of the options I think that would help you with what your concern is.
I'm sorry, to do what? To
having them, make sure they must be signed.
Having them logged in.
Logged in, then the scores get posted. When you look at that post score thing, there's the Excel spreadsheet, and you. And
then the post score would link directly to the assignment.
Yes.
Okay, and then I would see it that way too.
Yes. Like right now, there's no names, no emails, no names. If that had been an option, you would see the names.
Right.
There, if you had.
They don't get it yet. They're just.
Correct.
They don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking, and I've been telling everybody, I would just do this in small stages. I would not be throwing all this at the students all at one time. The assignments back and forth, and now we're going to throw a notebook at them while they're sitting at home. I mean, I really do think there comes a point where there needs to be an element of human interaction here. So, I mean, I think if you just stay at level 6, I mean, that's honestly, if I was in their boat right now with kids, I would just be staying at level 6, and I'd just be doing the assignments, collecting them, and submitting them back. And then the notebook thing, you know what, I think we might need that once we actually get back to the classroom, but I don't know if we need that just now.
Yeah, I think a lot of this will smooth out when the kids are in front of you in the classroom back, assume in September, where you've got that give and take right there, and you can show them exactly what you're looking for, look over their shoulders, see what if they're literally on the same page, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Is there a way to prevent them? Is there a way to prevent them from chatting back and forth?
I think you can turn off the chat feature. I'm not sure. I saw that demonstrated once, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, within Teams, because I just see them cheating and talking nonstop like they were texting to each other, you know?
Well,
yeah, I'd rather let them text to
whether they're texting or chatting. It's gonna do the same thing. But as far as in here, like you can shut this down.
Oh, that's like, not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the far left-hand side chat.
You're talking about the chat in here. No, right now that we believe right now that's one of the settings that has to happen in central office that they're figuring out to prevent kids from chatting back and forth in this world. Now there is supposedly a monitoring system in place for kids that might say something questionable or do something questionable in there. There are triggers that will go off. But no, as far as we are concerned, as far as the teacher, you will not have access from kid to kid discussions that are going on in there.
I mean, I just see that being a huge can of worms. Like they'll just be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, but that's instant messaging. You know, I mean, they can get that on their phone. They can get that. I mean, there's always going to be this loophole, this constant vicious cycle, you know, of all that. But I don't know if we got to keep pushing forward. So
I think with so much of, and I think our sense, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, that an awful lot of students are doing their work on their smartphones right now.
Yeah, I think that's what we're hearing more, especially from the high school, that most of those kids are.
And what's the high school's policy on smartphones?
Yeah, that there is no phones.
Yeah,
there is no cell phones. Right?
I think that's going to be an issue that has to be addressed, obviously. You know, it was good for now, but you can't have them now. I don't think that's going to fly.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Policy.
I think this is very unprecedented times, and we have been literally thrusted to this style of teaching within a month and a half. You know, so it's a lot. It's a lot for anybody to swallow, and we're just trying to make the pill taste a little better, I guess. So,
all
right, guys, I'm gonna call it.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We will be.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one. All right. Thank you. Anybody else that might be out there, thank you very much for attending and sticking this one out. It's been 2 hours and 20 minutes. So thank you again, and have a good long weekend.
Yeah, it's close enough to 5 o'clock for me, Ed. I don't know about you, but
definitely for me. I'm definitely there.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye. You too. Bye-bye.